Hey everybody, today is Wednesday, September 27th, and it's the second full day of painting here in Bath County. I just finished my largest canvas. I say finished, but I could come back and maybe add to it. We'll see if the lighting is going to be similar the next 2 days. But if I don't come back, I think I'm still pretty happy with how this turned out. The canvas itself is 22 inches square, and with the frame, it's about 26 by 26. So let me go ahead and turn the camera on and show you what we're looking at here. So this is the view that I decided to paint, and we're looking at the backside of a couple of buildings that are on sort of a perpendicular road off of Highway 220 in Hot Springs. So this is downtown Hot Springs, and that's pretty much the whole downtown street that you can see right now. But I came around from that direction behind those buildings and followed this little creek. And then I came up the parking lot and I saw the backside of these buildings and immediately was drawn to these big geometric shapes. I like the different, the amount of variety, I should say, in the dimensions of the different shapes and the angles of this roof here. And then I also really liked the smaller sense of scale of the houses behind these buildings that are up on the mountain. And here's the painting. I apologize if there's a glare. Some of the light is bouncing off this white wall, so it's a bit brighter than it actually is in real life. But you can get a sense for the painting and the color relationships. Something I've never really done in plein air is try to capture steam or smoke, either one really. I think the closest I've ever tried to paint to steam is mist on like hillsides or off of a lake, but it was a lot of fun to study the different shapes of the steam coming out of this little pipe off the edge of the building and having to commit to a certain shape that I saw. So this is actually a pretty good moment to study the way that steam was going vertically up, as opposed to being pushed around by the wind, which it did quite a bit actually while I was painting. But eventually I had to just commit to a shape and study the edge quality of the steam, and even that sense of transparency up in the top left portion of the steam. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. You can see the composition is really heavy on the bottom, even though this is basically just one solid shape. And most of the contrasts and variety lie up here in the top sort of third, well, actually almost half section of the composition. And it was a lot of fun to get into all of those smaller shapes in things like foliage and grass, and even in areas of architecture. So you can see how I tried to handle those houses up on the mountainside. Again, I apologize for the clarity of the image here. This isn't the best picture, but yeah, I just thought I'd give you guys a quick little behind the scenes look at how the painting turned out. Some of the employees of the Homestead Hotel maintenance crew, you know, they constantly were coming up this driveway and passing by. A few of them stopped and complimented the painting, which was really nice. So these are my favorite paintings, I've realized, are the ones that are like kind of in the heart of a town or a city where you feel like you're in the midst of activity that the locals are, you know, engaging in with their work or personal lives. So it's fun to just kind of be a fly on the wall and try to document what you see. But something I'll mention is that, you know, the sun is right here in the sky, and when I started it was actually over here, and as you can see, it's very overcast today. There are a few pockets where you can see the blue sky through the clouds, and as the day goes on it's opening up more and more. But for most of my session it was overcast, and that was really helpful because I didn't have to worry about, you know, committing to shapes of shadows or trying to worry about temperature and value shifts in the colors that I saw. So the lighting in the painting has that sort of overcast, diffused lighting condition that I actually really like a lot in this painting. So anyway, I'll show you a quick look at my palette before I scrape it off. You can see I started to scrape off some of the paint that's still wet. These were the brushes that I used, so definitely used a few more than I did yesterday on the 2 paintings I made yesterday, but there's a good balance between shape and you know, stiffness or softness of the hairs. And then here's a quick look at my thumbnail drawing to start out. So obviously it's really rough. The values with pen are a little bit harder to distinguish, and you know, the drawing was mostly about trying to figure out the proportions and the placement of some of those bigger elements in the composition. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. You know, it's definitely my favorite painting, I think, so far. It's a tie between this one and the tree portrait that I showed you. So what's interesting about the Bath County Plein Air Festival is that you can bring in, I think, it's either 4 or 5 paintings for the sort of opening night. And then I think throughout the show you can, you know, fill in gaps as things sell. But for the awards that are given out by the judge, are selected from 1 painting per artist. So we have to pick one of our paintings to be eligible for awards. And the rest of them just are not considered for any of the awards. And I think total there's 11 awards, if I'm remembering correctly. So we'll see what happens. Right now, I think I'm leaning towards this painting as my, you know, entry for the awards, just because it's substantial. It has a lot of variety. I really like the intricacies that it has, and I really enjoy the composition, you know. So unless there's another painting that I make, or if I go back and really push that tree one to a place where I like it more than this, it's looking like this will be my entry for the awards. Okay, so I think I just finished this painting. It's pretty close. Actually, I think I might touch up this area before I pack up today, but I just spent about another hour on the painting. It's about 1:30 now, and the sun is starting to come out. You can see the sky is clearing up. This is the first time all week the sky, we can see a pretty, you know, fair amount of the blue sky above us. So I think that's my sign from the universe that this painting is done. But I really like how it turned out. There's some really interesting passages and areas that I really enjoyed putting together. I'm noticing I got a little bug stuck on my window here. Let's see if I can get it off. There we go. I was gonna say, I don't remember putting a glob of paint in that part of the canvas, but anyway, yeah, I think it's probably just about done. You know, I think it's definitely busy enough on the top. That was sort of the goal, was to make this top half really, really complex, and then this open atmospheric shape on the bottom would counteract that and contrast that. So yeah, let me know what you think. Here's the view again. Obviously the values and some of the colors a bit different now that the sun is out, but let me know what you guys think. Thanks for following along, and have a nice day.